Hey, how you doing there, young fella? Welcome back. We are progressing our Mildred character. It does not look like Mildred yet. We are going to speed a lot of this shit up so that we can cram it all into the episode. I wanted to make the distinction that in the first two episodes when we were on the Switch, we were doing a live commentary, whereas this I'm just talking over footage because I can't really, I record this when I'm on the bike, so I'm not really going to be in any position to record at that time. It's pretty noisy when I'm doing it, so that's just not an option. And of course, we started the first couple episodes on Switch, and now we've had to basically do a new character on PlayStation, so we're not going to get it exactly the same. And I should have homeward boned out of there before I should have just got the Firekeeper soul and boned out, but for whatever reason I didn't do that. This episode has lots of blunders in it. So not everything is going to be exactly the same, but we are going to get to the point where it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because the character will be finished, and then I'm just going to go on as usual. Now, this was kind of, I don't know what I was thinking here. Okay, see, I boned all the way back to Blighttown. It's like, I could have just come up here, hit the bonfire, and then gone down. It's like, what was I doing? Guys, you don't know how hot it was in there. Even my wife came in when I was finishing up, and I was just playing a little bit more. But I think I'd done like 25 minutes on the bike, and I usually try to do pretty high intensity. And she's like, "Oh my god, dude, it is way too hot in here," and it was just like I think it cooked my brain. So, yeah. Pretty good. Wasted a lot of time there. That's why we're going to speed that up. Now, of course, we have to try to make our way to the Capra Demon, because our sack is locked behind a boss, of course, as you know. Yeah, I shot this, I can't remember, I think it was Wednesday. And I'm just doing the commentary for it this morning. That's Saturday morning. Well, I guess we're 1:09, so I don't think it's the morning anymore. That's all right. We have a nice long weekend. I don't know how that's possible. Now, I told you guys I started a new job not too long ago. I don't know if we would have had this Monday off at my old job, because they were just totally insane about having us work like so many long weekends, and it's like everyone in the whole city is closed. Not everyone, I mean that's a total exaggeration, but like everyone in the world is closed today, but we're going to be open. It's like I have to think, like, if the mentality is, if the shop is open all day, and it cost us $2,000 to be open all day. I don't know what the hell it is. But the shop made 50 cents today, then that was worth it. It was worth pissing everybody off and making everybody come in. So that's the way we used to do it at my old job. And of course, you gotta swing right over these rats. I don't like Hammer class stuff. It's not totally the Hammer class stuff's fault. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know if they have the Monday off. We have the Monday off. Normally I try to get a parry on that guy, but we kicked him right off, so fuck him. Yeah, we don't actually have a whole lot left. I hadn't even clued in at this point. Remember, we were talking at the end of last episode. I hadn't even clued in at this point that we hadn't rung the second bell. Rang? I don't know. We never rang the second bell. So we're gonna have to go down there. I think I'm just gonna maybe either do that on my own time or I'll just speed it up to like 1,000%. So me running all the way down there and getting the bonfire and then having to come back up, because you're already down there. You can't warp. It makes no sense not to go to the bonfire. You're stuck anyway, unless maybe you're... I have no idea what kind of circumstance that would be to just beat Quelaag, not ring the bell, and then bone back up to topside. I have no idea why anybody would do that. I mean, intentionally. That just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Open up this gate. We are going to be doing a lot of invading, I imagine, from this exact area. Everywhere I have a Mildred, with the obvious exception of Switch, sadly. I get a lot of invasions here. And we're going to be getting our character pretty much buttoned up, I think, by the end of this episode. But like I was saying last episode, of course, there is something we're going to be missing. We are missing the Ring of Steel protection, which we always use. We don't have to use it, but like, the reason I picked that was a couple of reasons. Number one, Mildred has almost no defense. She wears a sack. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. Like, I always get sack to +10 for this character, which is like, wow, what a waste of a Titanite slab and a bunch of chunks. But, okay, that's fair, but like, what else am I going to use it on? I can't use it on a weapon, because we're going to put ourselves outside of the matchmaking. Oh yeah, this was... Now remember, I'm bopping around on the bike here, and I mean, it's a road bike, but like, I sit up on it to play this. And I've never had this happen before, and if I did, I don't remember, but like, just the action of me pedaling and kind of bopping around, I accidentally did a couple of gestures in front of Solaire, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but on the PS4, when you're using a wireless PS4 controller, you can hold the, I guess it's the X button, and you hold the X button and then you can move the controller a certain way. Everybody knows this, I would imagine, but turn the controller a certain way or move it a certain way, and I was trying to shut the door on this guy, but it just wouldn't let me do it. And yeah, you will do a gesture. So I thought that was actually pretty funny that I inadvertently did that. I was like, okay, I'm just doing a wave out of nowhere. And then it's like, all right, we're going to give Solaire a nice high-speed point down. I'm sure he appreciates that. But Solaire, you know Solaire. Solaire's a pretty cool guy. Solaire is your friend to the end. And, yeah. So these guys decided to chase me down the stairs here. Now, we are going to remember something that we forgot to do. And we're going to remember right about now. And the thing that we forgot is we forgot to buy a dump truck load of firebombs, because if you think I'm going into the Capra boss fight with those goddamn dogs still alive, you got a prayer, ding dong. And I don't know how funny this is, but that part of what I said just now, I don't know how funny you guys can think this is, or how silly or dumb or whatever, but I'll tell you an interesting anecdote while we buy our firebombs and whatever else. Not the job that I just left, but the job that I left before that. I got fired from that job because I had written on a piece of paper that was not supposed to go to the customer. It was just supposed to be like a note to to my service advisor. It was like 4:30 on a Friday, and this car came in for a brake inspection, and it needed front and rear brakes. It was kind of an old clunker. I mean, at that point in time anyway, this must have been in like, I think this was like 2013. And the thing was like, I don't know, it was like an 04, whatever. The car is pretty old. It needed front and rear brakes, whatever. And I had a fuck of a time trying to get these guys through the doors. You know, you can do that. Yeah, so I had to quote all that stuff out for the customer. And the way we used to do it back at that point in time, and I don't know if our shop was just living in the Stone Age. I mean, of course it was. Not that I would ever say anything bad about anywhere I worked. You guys know that. I would never do that. But anyway, what we had to do was we had to send the parts request to the parts department. So you just write out in shorthand, like, this is what the car needs. And then they price everything out for you. And then you have to go walk to the parts department. I can't believe it. This is just so inefficient and stupid that we had to do it this way. Go to parts, grab the paper if they're done with it. If they're not done with it, you might go take a dump or something. Sometimes they just get slammed and you're like, okay, well, you know, I already lost my ass on this job, so I might as well just go fuck myself. Oh, this was great here. I should have saved and quit. Anyway, I'm gonna get to the fucking story in just a second, guys. As soon as we get annihilated here. Okay, gotta do it again right now. So, I get them to price out the front and rear brakes. I walk the paper over to my advisor's desk. My service advisor's not there. He's out having a smoke or whatever. This was pretty scary here. I thought, okay, we're gonna lose all our souls here, which I don't plan on doing until the Four Kings anyway. So, and then these two fucking idiots show up, and I was like, well, this does not look like a good situation. Anyway, can I say anything? So, my advisor wasn't there. I had this thought, because our typically service advisors don't give a shit about the technician. If we can make some money off the customer, and the technician has to, oh yeah, check this out. I tried to throw this firebomb at this dog, and I must have missed him by like, I don't know, a foot. That was kind of a disappointment. I'm gonna get to this by the end of this video. I have to. I'm gonna get to what I said here. If I know what kind of a douchebag our advisors are at that place, I don't have that problem anymore. Let me just be clear on that. Fuck. So I'm like, I know there's a real good chance that my advisor's gonna sell all this work, and this is like over 3 hours worth of work at 4:30 on Friday night. Like, if the customer, if the advisor can make a sale, it doesn't matter. I'm sure the technician doesn't mind. The technician has nothing better to do. The technician doesn't have a family to go home to or shit to do. It's Friday night. Maybe he wants to go home and drink his fucking ass off or something. This was a long time ago. Actually, this was before I even drank much at all, I think. So I wrote on the parts request that I had to submit to the advisor. I said, customer to rebook. This is, I will never forget what I said here. Customer to rebook, because if you think I'm sticking around to do breaks all night, you've got a prayer, ding-dong. Now, looking back on that, it's like, you know, if I can make just over 3 hours in probably what was maybe an hour and a bit worth of work. This thing was a crusty old heap, by the way. Tin can. You know, I probably wouldn't have had that much of a problem with that. But back in those days, I think I was freshly licensed, and I was a little too big for my britches at some points in time, and I can admit that. Isn't this great commentary on what we're doing here? So, I left that on his desk, and I don't think anything more of it until I come in on Monday, and there's a note on my toolbox that says, see the manager. So I had actually logged into a job before I before I went and saw the service manager. And the service manager explains to me that the retarded cashier that we had was so fucking dumb, she gave that piece of paper to the customer, not knowing that we were supposed to keep that, and the advisor is just supposed to give her the parts information off of it. And the customer did not like that, needless to say, and pretty much my manager looked at me and just said, after he explained all this, and he's like, yeah, well, I'm pretty much looking at a guy who doesn't have a job. And I was like, well, yeah, that sucks. So you gotta you gotta prayer ding dong. So that's kind of lived with me for a long time. But you really got to be careful what you write down and what you say sometimes, because you don't know how it's going to be potentially used against you. I mean, we never should have given that piece of paper to the customer. That was absolutely brain dead. But I never should have written that on a piece of paper either. So, in a situation like that, what you want to do is give the piece of paper to the advisor. I don't know if any of you guys work in a shop or anything, but it's like Friday 4:30 and you just want to get the fuck out of there. Here's what you do. Finish the car, put it back together. We're not doing anything tonight. And once the car's outside, keys hanging up, we're going to wash it. I mean, I'm not going to wash it. We got a car wash kid for that, right? Everything's finished. Then you finish your lines. Write your story, finish your lines. You don't work in a shop. You don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And then you give them... Then you walk your parts request up to the advisor and you say, see you Monday. And that's all you do. Don't write anything on it that you don't need. Or you could write customer to rebook, that'd be fine. But you never know, some service advisors they will throw their own mother under the bus for a good review from a customer. And what's it going to take for a good review from a customer? Well, my tech had to be here all night. So sadly, that's the way it is sometimes. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's kind of my option. And if the customer could stick around. If I want to make some money tonight, I can do that. So I might not be so resistant to that. It depends on the circumstance, I guess. But yeah, anyway, that was just a fun story for you guys. Don't write stuff that's going to get you in trouble. I had a problem with that, so whatever. This was fun. I told you this episode was just nothing but blunders, and then I told you about a personal blunder I had in my personal life, my work life. That was good. Sometimes you just want to save some time because maybe you think the clock's ticking and you're not totally sure how much time you have left. And what I mean by that is, yeah, look at this, right in the face. And then this guy got the jump on me. This guy threw the firebomb right into his little pink leg. And then I missed this guy a bunch of times or whatever. Yeah, sometimes I don't know how much time I have. I know that PlayStation is going to record for 30 minutes. But I usually do like 25 minutes on the bike and then I'll hit it again for another 5 minutes. And I got to keep it within that 5 minutes because I'm worried about losing footage. So I'm kind of like, I got to hurry up here. But sometimes we don't realize that when you try to hurry up, you actually waste more time. Haste makes waste, right? So by missing the jump, and I wasn't able... This was fucking hairy here, guys. I missed that jump over the railing there, and everybody got me, and I ended up having to do what I would have normally done anyway, just go kill everybody anyway. So it's like, how do you want to waste your time? Like, this is really not the prudent way to go about this. This is like the masochist's way to go about anything. And when you realize you're kind of stuck, that's when you got a couple of options. Like, when we got cornered by those three... I don't know who those guys are. Those three bandit guys in the right before Capra. Like, you got no option there, because we got no poise. All you can do is block or try to save and quit, or just eat shit. I think save and quit is going to be the easiest, probably best course of action, because you're going to get bled out. They'll bleed you out through anything. So, and yeah, unfortunately our first our first butcher did not drop the sack, but of course it's a guaranteed drop from one of them. And I say guy, but I mean it's pretty common knowledge that these butchers are actually female, which is pretty scary. I mean, if I have to pick between everyone wearing a sack in this game, I'm going to pick Mildred, and let's face it, Mildred's pretty dumpy and gross. But some guys are into that. And magically, we're back at the Undead Berg, because we didn't even stop at the bonfire in the depths. We are going to do that some other time. Have a nice sip of black coffee here. And this is absolutely disgusting. Look at this, guys. Well, our character's almost finished. Next episode, we're going to probably finish it off. I hope you join me for that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see your fine ass.